What's going on, guys? I'm Jacemachine, and this is StarMade. Welcome back. Sorry it's been a little bit, but my PC was turned into a newt. It got better. I have a little bit of news to talk about. We have a new galaxy that we are playing with here. Brand new galaxy. But we are still doing the same season. Why? Well, why not? I got a lot of really good suggestions in the comments on expanding the sectors to 5,000 and increasing the speed to sort of match with that. So we have a new maximum speed of 200, and our sectors are indeed 5,000. And so as a result, our sector 22 is much bigger, and I decided to make a little bit of a shipyard here to show you guys in this episode at the spawn shop. There's a new update that's coming out very soon, I hope. They're going to allow for multiple worlds, so just like Minecraft where you have different single-player worlds, we're going to be able to have different galaxies or different world saves, and that's going to be super helpful because one, you can have different survival games going on without having to spoil any sort of creative worlds and vice versa. So I'm pretty excited about that. These here are all of the ships that I've made. That big red one there was one of my very first ships, and it's completely useless now. Most of these ships are. I made these guys with the earlier version of the game, so let me go in here and show you what I got in more detail. Alright, let's take a look here. First, we're going to take a look at the Millennium Falcon here. This is a scaled down version of the ship, but we will take a little bit of a closer look here for you. Let's see. This is just the frame that's being worked on. And nothing too exciting yet, but eventually it's going to have turrets on the top and the bottom. And of course we have the engine room back here. I saw on some schematics for the Millennium Falcon that the access point was actually in the little bit towards the aft of the ship here, actually. So I decided to model that in my own version. This is one of the entrance ways here. And this darkness goes out into the actual cockpit area. And that's the Millennium Falcon. For those of you who watched a little bit of my first season, you might recognize this. This is the original Salvager dolly, the Stingray design. This is using the starter blocks, and it served me well. I liked it. The ship here is based off of the Jedi ship from episode 3, I think. Again, these are based on the old designs, so it only had one weapons computer. The ship core, of course, through the back, and at one time it had doors on the back, but I kept getting hung up on them. I think I removed them. This ship right here, if you've been with StarMade for a while, you'll absolutely recognize this, but if you're new to this game, this is the old default Pirate and Trade Guild spaceships. This is the Assante 4, and as you can see, quite a lot has changed between this one and the other one. I'm going to show you the other one real quick again as a comparison. See, there we go. The one hanging off the bottom of our ship there, that's the newer version. And as you can see, this is much more detailed. Great use of all the little wedge blocks and things like that. And it's also much bigger. I think it's 50% larger. Yeah, but I got this out today because I wanted to dust it off and show you guys what we used to have when the game first started out, when I got into it. This here is a Spitfire plane, where it's based on the Spitfire plane from World War II, the Supermarine Spitfire. Get into the cockpit up through here, of course, you can seal it up right above you. This was a very bare bones sort of thing because I wanted it kind of to scale, to at least proper scale, but it's hard to do smaller ships and have them looking really good in StarMade. You don't have the luxury of being able to place hull on things. But I was able to use these wedges to good effect, at least. This ship right here, I designed, it's called a System Patrol Craft, and basically I got the idea from a role-playing game book. It was called D20 Modern, and they had a source book for it about futuristic stuff, and they had a little drawing of a ship that looked a lot like this, and I was like, man, that's cool. So, as you can see, that's what I did. I used a lot of missiles in my old designs, and as you can see, they are no longer missile pods. But this is basically my idea for a police vessel, and I would like to probably update this, make it functional with the current version of the game, and then give the Trade Federation as some sort of default ship that we'll see. This ship right here is my first major ship, the one that I mentioned earlier. It was designed to be an asteroid smasher, basically, or a planet pulverizer, if you will. It had 3 cannons on each arm, and for defense against smaller ships, it had a total of 4 turrets. And it was actually designed to be able to land on planets because of the way that I wanted it to be used. So I gave it a nice flat bottom here, but it was good enough. Let's get locked into the gravity well here. Shut that Plex door, and I'll give you a little tour. Had a little observation window here. Let's see out. Now, a lot of the hull that I used was whatever hull was available to me. This is my power core module here. This is basically power modules filled in with shield blocks. Back in the day, all I needed was one type of shield block back in the day. And I actually had two of these set up. I think this ship had a total of 4 power cubes set up in it. There's nothing to see on this bottom floor, but we'll go up the staircase made of lights. And then we have, like, the command area right here. See the different color hull? Yeah. I was working with whatever I had. Like I said, this was my first ship. This is effectively a cobblestone structure, basically. Over here in the side arms, we had more shields, and I'll show you what is down in each arm. I'll go this way. Here we go. Nice little window here, and also windows here as well for this little walkway. And then basically it would just come down into the gun arm itself, and right there is the front of the ship. A lot of weird yellow hull in some places. It was because I think this ship was mostly made out of space station parts. If I'm not mistaken, the other side is identical or near identical. It should be. Yep. And from the looks of things, it looks like I only had those 2 power cores. Or those 2 power blocks, I guess. Whatever you would call them. So that's the Ravager. One of my favorite ships. I still like it. I'm going to definitely update it. You'll note that I didn't use a whole lot of wedges on my older stuff. And that's just because I wasn't that sophisticated yet. In fact, I'm still sort of increasing my sophistication level with my builds. This was back when I didn't realize you could use lava for fire. You know what I mean? Here's some hopefully familiar ships. We have 3 models of TIE here. The traditional TIE Fighter. We have the TIE Interceptor. And this is the TIE Bomber. We got the TIE Bomber guy here. Packed to the gills with bombs and missiles. He is no longer functioning. He is a obsolete ship, unfortunately. But it was a cool looking ship. Definitely needed some more angled wedges, don't you think? Then we had the TIE Interceptor. I like the way that I did the window on the TIE Bomber. I think the TIE Bomber was the third that I built out of these. This was the second. The TIE Fighter was probably the first. But each of these you enter in through the top. Each has a little cockpit with control rods. And there we have the reverse of it. This, of course, is the TIE Fighter itself. Second ship. This must have been the second ship. Just take note of how I did the window here. It matches the way that the bomber was done. But yeah, there we go. I don't know, these are roughly to scale. I'm not exactly sure if they are to scale, but I like them. I'll tell you, when you have all your space pirates set up to fly Imperial ships, it's something to see. So we might end up doing that in the future if we upgrade these as well. This ship right here is my main salvager from the first season of the StarMades. If you guys watched those first few episodes, you'll recognize that I built this. It's not bad. It's not a great ship, but it was a starter ship basically for that series. And it didn't get a whole lot of use, mostly because that series didn't have a whole lot of life in it. My StarMade, during one of the updates, it started to crash a lot. And as a result, I decided just to abandon the series until I can come back to it, and that's why you guys are watching Season 2 right now and not Season 1. Cool story, bro. This is Slave 1. Get a little bit of a better vantage point. As you can see, it's got hull damage. I left the hull damage on there because Slave 1 itself is a little beat looking. But a lot of times when I replace the hull damage, instead of replacing it with the green hulls, I will replace it with... This is exactly what I do. I'll replace it with a gray, unpainted hull. I likes it. This ship needs a lot of work as well. Mostly it needs a lot of angled pieces, and gotta smooth out all these. Let's just jump. Gotta smooth out all the harshness of it, all those angles. See if we can smooth them out with some angled pieces. So that's just something that I need to start doing more of in my builds, and you will see more and more of it. I mean, this is a later model ship here, and even though the wings are still just no angles or wedges used there, you can tell that I'm a little bit more sophisticated in my builds. This is my Katana class starfighter. It's a little gunship. Used to be way more effective in the previous version of StarMade, and as you can see, it's no good anymore. As you may expect, if it was made in the old version, chances are it's no good anymore. It's not optimized. Everything worked differently. But this is the same exact ship that's currently docked on the inside hangar of my own ship right up there. And this is what it looks like. It's Luke Skywalker sand speeder from Episode 4, A New Hope. We have a couple of different cameras. We have a nose-mounted camera, and if you wanted to have an actual view from inside the ship, you know, sort of seat view, this is the camera that we've installed for that. Oh, wow. What are you doing, Dave? Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm not hitting any buttons, but he feels the need to keep putting his helmet back on and off. Alright guys, that's going to do it. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Peace.